Hi everyone, I'm Sandy Chong from the Australian Hairdressing Council, and I've got a special guest today, and it's Sheridan Rose West. Now, Sheridan Salon, hi Sheridan, is Mama West. So thank you so much for coming on today, Sheridan.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Thanks for having me.
Now, I've got so much to discuss with you, but I should point out that you have got such a long list of accolades and awards that there's no way that I'm going to remember them all. But I know that just this year, anyway, you've won local business awards for being an innovative business in your area, which is Maidstone in Melbourne, and as well as winning industry awards. You're part of the FAME team, and it recently won the Artistic Team of the Year at the Australian Hair Fashion Awards. But you also won, and congratulations, you also won the Victorian Salon of the Year at the Australian Hair Industry Awards. And you've just got, every time, I think I said to you, every time I go onto the socials, you pop up because you're always doing amazing things, for your salon, but also for the industry. So congratulations and well done.
Thank you so much.
Now, I want to talk to you about a few things because you've got an incredibly successful brand and incredible successful business in Melbourne. And when we look at the industry, there are some concerns in the industry at the moment. And one of them is all about apprenticeships. And, our concern is the fact that we lose so many of our apprentices in the first year. In fact, the data shows us around 63%. So I thought we'd have a chat about, well, why is that? And looking at your brand and how well your brand is doing, you obviously have got a great formula and a great culture. So I do want to have a chat to you about that. I also want to have a chat to you about your career. Did you become an overnight success? Because I remember with my own salon, it was called Suki, and I think it took 20 years for us to start winning all these awards. And someone said to me, oh, you've just arrived on the scene. It's like, no, we've been here a long time. We've worked really hard to get here. So nothing really happens overnight. I'm sure you worked really hard too. So I want to have a chat to you about that. But anyway, let's have a chat about the salon, how many staff you've got, how many apprentices you've got. And I guess, do you want to share with us, what's your philosophy, your ethos on when you employ an apprentice, what are the steps that you take then to ensure that that apprentice has the best learning experience and also the best apprentice experience with you? So I'll pass over to you.
Yes, beautiful. So, hello everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I am seeing my business a little bit like reparenting oneself. I think having had a 17-year hairdressing career and having kind of my own resentments, angers, and fears throughout that experience, I think having a salon, it's been the opportunity to give what was not necessarily given to me. So for me, I had an apprentice from the moment that we opened the door. I see apprentices as the glue that make the salon work. And I've been told that some ex-bosses have said that apprentices are just a dead wage. But our space doesn't work well without our support staff. And we start training them from the moment they enter the door. We've got an apprentice at the moment. She's a mature age. She's been with us for 3 months. She's already done her first haircut. She's tinting on the floor. She's toning. She's blow waving. That's 3 months. So she is mature age. She's really hungry. She's really open and she knows what she wants. So I believe it's our responsibility and duty of care to get their hands dirty the second they kind of enter our space.
I absolutely love hearing what you've just said, because I think, unfortunately, so many salons don't see apprentices as an investment in their salon. And I love the way you describe that they're the glue for your salon and how quickly you've got this mature apprentice on the floor and doing stuff. And we know that apprentices leave the industry because of the way they're treated and also the lack of training and the fact that they're just used as cleaners for a year and nothing else. Do you have like a specific time that you train her? I'm assuming it's a female, so do you
Yes.
train her every week or do you put time aside, or how is it they're actually training her?
In every moment of downtime, she is being trained. Like if it's not it's specifically with me monthly, but it is weekly with at least another senior that's happening, because I see, especially mature age apprentice, we are paying a higher wage, though they learn so quick. And I think for that wage to be helpful to us, the sooner we get them on the floor, the more profitable our salon is. Really, I think we've got it a bit backwards, where we think we can't make a healthy profit with an apprentice. But I think the sooner they can do hair, the sooner we are making a profit, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so instead of seeing them as an expense,
Yes.
getting a return on investing in them, your time, your money, and your energy, the
Yes.
sooner the better. So with your apprentices, they go to college. Do you work with the college at all? Like, do you liaise with them on what they're learning?
Yeah, so I work very closely with Bieber Academy. We have a fantastic relationship. And we've got quite the reputation now in Melbourne, and I have got to say we are turning back apprentices at the moment. In fact, we probably get more apprentices and trainees from Bieber Academy applying for jobs more regularly than seniors. And my turn at the moment is putting all of my time and energy into the next generation of hairdressers, because there is a bit of a hunger there. And I have found the seniors that have come through my doors aren't quite up to the standard that we need them to be. We now are an award-winning salon, which comes with high demand, high expectations, not just from me, but from the community. And that means, I think, if I can train the next generation of hairdressers in the way that, we do hair, and the reason why we have been so successful, I see them, we don't have to retrain in the future. They're just there immediately.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely brilliant. And of course, Beaver is a wonderful academy, and I love all the teachers there, and certainly the work
Yes.
is just, you look at Lyndall, who has just
Yes.
won, Australian Hairdresser of the Year, and I just totally
Amazing.
adore her, Marilla.
Yes.
They do a really wonderful job at Beaver, and Simon as well.
Yep.
And even their history is amazing, really.
Yes. And their
Yeah.
culture, it's inspiring. They do competitions. They get people, into it immediately. I got to judge the next level Bieber competition last year, and it was the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my whole career, judging that level of work, because it was such high standard.
Oh, I agree. And I've judged their competitions as well. And, they paraded down the street. They had
Yeah.
fabulous DJ too, I might add. But I found that really difficult, because very inspirational work, very creative. And
Yes.
oh my God, the talent that goes through. So I agree with you. Really wonderful, college in Melbourne. So let's have a chat about you though, because you didn't really suddenly pop up. And I think I had said to you, oh, I've been keeping an eye on you for some time now, just really watching your business and your profile and your brand grow. Now, as I said, you have a really wonderful brand, and it's interesting that you recognize that there are higher expectations now. When you win the awards, well, then that means that you have to live up to those awards on your brand as well. So tell me about your journey, how you got into hairdressing, why did you become a hairdresser, and where, sort of how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, I am definitely a bit of a dark horse, and you're not wrong there. I have been around for 17 years, but Mama West has kind of been like a rebirth of my own identity and my own life experience, I guess. So I was lucky enough to be trained by, at least for half of my apprenticeship, by Frank Burgermeister. I saw Anne actually in the group. I saw a little interview there with Anne. Anne taught me how to cut hair as well as Frank. And that's where I started. I started at that standard. I started at premium salon level. And then I ended up rebelling against the system of hairdressing and the boundaries and I was a 14, 15-year-old girl at that stage. I'm a year 9 dropout. I didn't even finish year 9. I was so hungry to be around adults, and hairdressing really gave me, I guess, something to focus on, because school was just not for me. So I ended up moving to another city salon, finished my apprenticeship there, qualified, and got my first job as a qualified hairdresser at Rarkus on Collins. So I am so grateful for that type of upbringing within my industry, because it started at a very high standard and high level. Though as I progressed throughout my career, I progressed in my own kind of self-destructive way and really burnt some bridges along the way in the industry because I was so, I guess, filled with self-loathing and self-hatred and not even knowing that, and kind of just drowned my own sorrows with alcohol and drugs. So I've been clean now for 11 years. And it has been that the last 11 years that I've really been able to put all of that creative energy into hairdressing. And hairdressing saved my life when I was an apprentice. And it is saving my life again because I get to I get to create something with my life, and hairdressing is not just a career, it's an obsession. I love it. And I'm so grateful to have something that I love and can continue to create and evolve. So,
Well,
yeah.
Shannon, that is incredibly inspirational because I didn't know that about your background before. And, with the AHC, we've actually developed with a really beautiful lady called Tina Winchester and also another one called Meg Linton. And we have got podcasts and resources all about mental health, but also physical health and a lot on self-esteem. I think, unfortunately, that's where social media does let us down because it really has affected the social our self-esteem for so many young people nowadays. But knowing that you had those struggles and challenges, I know that when I first walked into the salon I did my apprenticeship with, it was like, oh my God, the vibe and the culture and the music and the fashion and the makeup and the people in there just became, this is where I belong. And, it sounds like, hairdressing for you, when you came back to it after your dark period, it's it's obviously where you belong. And what an incredible journey to go through that, through those dark times, and then come back and just really sort of be a champion at what you do. So, wow. And so you opened your salon. How long have you had your salon now?
So Mama West was born during the global pandemic, and she is 3 years old in January. So very exciting.
Wow. And so how well have you done in that 3 years? Have you found it being in business for the first time? Have you found many challenges being in business? What do you think is your biggest challenge?
Well, I was doing hair from home before Mama West was born, and I was doing that for about 5 years. And I think I was worse at business then, though the second I kind of grew from my own backyard, and I remember it really clearly. I remember one of my clients said to me, Sheridan, you're just too big for your own backyard. And I don't think I really believed that, but I was bored and I was ready for the next step and I was ready for the next stage. And I was such a victim to my own life experience and the industry, and being like, well, I kind of did it out of resentment. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to create a salon experience that no one's ever done before. And it turns out plenty of salon owners have done the exact same thing, and it's the exact same story. And here we are. And I think I just embarked on this journey to make a difference in the community. It was never about the hairdressing industry. And I think when I got to be a part of my local community, I realized that whether I like it or not, I'm a part of this hairdressing industry. And if I want to make a change in this hairdressing industry, I need to be in the front and center of it to then kind of, so people will want to listen to me. No one wants to listen to the victim, on the sidelines that's not really making much of a difference or impact. So I think having a salon, having a commercial liability, having a team like that need to rely on a responsible business model. I feel like so many of us are like, I'm a creative, but don't want to take responsibility for the business side of things, knowing our numbers, knowing what a profit is, knowing how to pay wages and super and tax on time, knowing how to pay above award, knowing how to price your salon prices so that you can pay above award and be profitable from the moment that you open the doors, which we have been. I think I've had a lot of help along the way with mentors that have really helped me, not so much in the salon industry, outside of the industry. And now I have salon industry mentors that are helping me take my business to the next level. So I've had a lot of help. It's not all me on my own. I think I am someone in nature who lives now with good principle, and that as a result of that way of living, like the rest of my life is pretty clean and healthy, which means I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to feel too much anxiety about business because I'm doing the right thing most of the time.
Well, I think we all do try to do the right thing most of the time. As you know, running a small business is a challenge.
Yes.
And, I think, with the Australian Hairdressing Council, we're constantly fighting the government or bringing to the attention to the government how complicated they make it for small business, especially industrial relation laws. I mean, how on earth are we meant to understand a very complicated system, and a very complicated award, let alone everything else? And, so, I mean, these are some of the things that, we do all the things, all the talking behind the scenes that, you don't have time to do. And where we go in, we back for small businesses and also for the hairdressing industry. But thanks so much for sharing your life story and also your business and your ethos and your culture and how you take care of your apprentices. It's been really great to speak with you. But just one last question: what's next for Sheridan Rose and Mama West?
Yeah, so we've just signed an 8-year lease for a 336 square meter space in the centre of Footscray, which is riveting, so terrifying. But I have learned over the last 3 years where my feet are, and this is where I'm meant to be. I love it so much. I love sharing. I love giving. And it's time to collaborate with other business models like yoga and meditation, and we're bringing a few different business models together within that big space to bring a bit of a holistic way of thinking and feeling and living and sharing in one big collaborative co-working space. So I'm very excited for 2024.
That sounds incredible, like amazing. So when will that open? Because I will have to make sure I go to Melbourne, and you'll be on my list.
Yes.
To go and see, this amazing space. So when is that scheduled for?
Hopefully March 2024. You know what it's like. It's a brand new build. It's a shell. It's got no bathrooms, no ceilings, no aircon, no anything. So we're hoping and praying for March 2024, but also not holding our breath.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds incredible. So wishing you all the very best with your new venture. It sounds incredibly exciting, and congratulations on how far you've come, personally, but also professionally. But you've really traveled a long way, I can see personally, to get to where you are. And, you've obviously climbed mountains where other people would have given up, and you haven't. So well done, congratulations, and thanks for the chat today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandy.